hello, everybody. A warm welcome. I'm Sheila Ramakrishnan, chemical engineer in the biopharma industry, and I'm also an art of living teacher and writer. It's my great pleasure to introduce to you Scott Hague from sunny Southern California. And Scott, we see your warm, welcoming smile. And thank you for being with us today.
Sure, sure.
Now, Scott, many of you know as a long-time teacher with the foundation. He's also just incredible artist and photographer. We really want to find out much more about all of this and your journey. We're just really grateful to have you here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And Scotty, it's a journey, isn't it, for many of us? Whether it started long time back, for you, like over 35 years ago, or for someone
Oh,
sort of mid-range like me, or a newcomer coming too.
right.
But it all starts, I think, when we think about this word blessing. Now, what does this word blessing, when I say that to you, what comes to your mind?
Well, I think from the very start, I was blessed to meet Gurudev. Um, I was involved in transcendental meditation, and so I had a lot of resistance from friends and family to learn to be with Gurudev, who we used to call Panditji in those days.
Right, right, Panditji, right.
Yeah, and so I just Um, when I first met him, I got a call I was in Fairfield in the Midwest, and I got a
Fairfield,
call,
Iowa, right?
yeah, yeah, but I got a call from a friend about this guy, Panditji, that he was, what, when a person had been with Maharishi and he was supposedly enlightened. And I just thought, oh, I don't care about that. I don't need another guru or teacher. But then for days I couldn't get that name, Panditji, out of my mind. Even when I was asleep at night, I would think Panditji, Panditji. So I just got a ticket on a plane and flew out to, he was in California then. So I flew out to California to meet him, and drove up to Monterey where the course was. I didn't know there was a Kriya or a course or anything. I just wanted to meet this guy that I couldn't stop thinking about. So I signed up for this course and learned breathing. And I thought, oh, what that's no big deal. What is it breathing? I know how to do pranayama and stuff. So we started pranayams and learning how to do the breathing techniques. And so I took that, and then we learned the kriya, which is like this our main breathing technique, which is breathing in certain rhythms. And in those days he did it for a long time. Maybe he did it personally. It wasn't a tape. And I think he did it like over an hour. And so I just did it. And I remember just finally giving up in the middle of it. I thought, oh, I can't do this anymore. So I opened my eyes and his feet were right there. He was standing right in front of me and he bent over and he said, keep breathing, keep breathing. So I kept breathing and finished the Kriya. And I remember thinking, well, there's this little old lady behind me. I thought she's going to be dead at the end of this. But I looked around and she was just breathing and huffing and puffing. And But then we took a lunch break, and I remember just, because I'm an artist, like all the colors just look so vibrant and alive and rich. And
So you noticed a difference, coming from your art
yeah,
background, like before the Kriya and after the Kriya, you just felt just the senses more alive and the
yeah,
colors
exactly.
really coming to life. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. And then Guruji wanted me to, he said, "Oh, you like the knowledge. Why don't you come to LA? I'm giving a talk down there." And so I went to this little, I mean, it was kind of a joke, this little tiny yoga center. Maybe there were 30 people there for this talk. And he just gave this most brilliant talk, I thought. But I looked around and there was nobody, there was no record of it. Nobody was recording. So I spoke to the
Organizer, and thought
organizer.
you suggested maybe that's a good idea
Yeah.
to
And he just, the
record
next night, he came with a little cheap video camera. He said, "Okay, you're the videographer now."
You got a promotion
Yeah,
there right on the spot.
right, right. Yeah. So that's when I started videotaping him. And I went on from there, and then I had a lot of family who were and friends who were really upset that I was going to be with him. And so I expressed that fear, and he said, "No, no, no." He said, "You can have the entire world against you, but if you know you're in the right, you just stand tall and be." He said, "It's like." Like wheat. Wheat is rough, but when you grind it, it becomes like white powder. He said, "Your faith, that it becomes white like powder." So,
Wow, that's beautiful.
yeah, I know.
So when you started recording some of these early talks, um, I believe Gurudev would give just talks on a variety of subjects, and um, were did that knowledge just kind of hit home to you? I feel like he did it in a way that was very relatable with examples, and did you
Right.
see how you might have applied some of that in your own life as an artist and as a meditator?
Oh yeah, it all applied to my life. And so then he wanted me to come on a teacher training course. And I thought, oh, I don't want to do that. I've been a teacher. I've taught meditation in my whole life. And he said, no, no, you should come. And it was in Halifax. He said, no, you come. You like the knowledge. And he said, plus I need it all videotaped. So you should come. And so he kind of tricked me on the course. And,
You had
and
no choice, right?
no, I know.
But to come.
Yeah. So I went to Halifax and did the course there, and it was just very, very simple. Then in those days, there wasn't a brochure or anything like that. And I remember the lecture, this guy came in and he said, "Well, my wife and I were going to have a vacation, but instead we thought to take the course, and we're really happy we took it." And I thought, well, that's not much of a talk. So, um, and also on that course, that's when he said, "Oh, you teach meditation, right? Why don't you come in my room?" And I went to his room, and there was a puja set, which is like the ceremony, and he did puja, and he gave me some mantras, and he said, "Now you're a Sahaj teacher."
Ah,
So
so you
then I,
you were kind of a teacher already, but then
yeah,
he kind of initiated you in this program, the Sahaj
right.
Samadhi meditation. And so it sounds like you became the first teacher or at least amongst the early teachers in
Yeah,
the US or North
yeah,
America.
yeah.
So,
I became a teacher of Kriya and Tahaj, the meditation, both at the same time.
oh,
And,
wonderful! You had both of
and those days, that course, um, there was probably 100 people on the course, and no, he didn't make any of us teachers. And then the very last night of the course, we had like a satsang, and this one teacher asked me and three other people to come up to her room, and then we did puja, and she gave us our Kriya tapes. And he said, "Don't tell anyone else," but he decided just to make you three teachers, and so that's how I became a teacher. And um,
How did that feel, when you were, especially when you said there was a large class or somewhat large class, and
yeah,
just a couple of you were selected? Did you feel like a responsibility came an honor? How did you feel when you first became a teacher?
yeah, it was definitely an honor. I mean, there was the Kriya tape. In those days, it was on these cassette tapes, and they gave me that and said, "Don't tell anyone else, because they're gonna get upset." So the next day in the airport, I was leaving, and this teacher came by with the tape. "Oh, here's your Korea tape," and everybody around me said, "Well,
They must have just said, wow.
I
And
know,
then, and then the rest is history. You
yeah,
must, with just a couple of you um, teaching in the whole of, say, the Western world in a way.
yeah."
How did you come back and did courses start to happen? Did things start to grow? Did you focus in California? I'm asking you all kinds of questions.
Oh, yeah, in California, I came back to California, but I also went to Fairfield to teach everybody I knew there.
Okay,
And
right. Because there
so,
was already a pretty strong community in Fairfield, Iowa.
yeah,
So that seemed like a natural place
right.
to go. Right.
But they're also that movement, they're also very educated, you know. We did teacher training was a lot of work, and um, the lectures were very complicated. So I remember flying back on the plane thinking, wow, I don't have a lecture. They're going to want to hear a lecture. So I had to write a lecture on the plane. And so I just gave like a little group, maybe 25 people in a living room. I gave them a talk about the art of living and the Kriya. And they said, "Oh, can you give the same talk tomorrow night? We'll bring some friends." So the next night, another 25 people came, and so I gave that. I thought, well, a few people will learn. And usually you don't get everybody, but the entire all of them, 50 people came the first night.
Oh.
So I had so my first course were 50 people, and I taught this group, and I remember we had a little rented place, rented room, but it was pouring rain, and they forgot the key, and so I had 50 people all in the pouring rain, and so we just went back to a house, and I taught them in this house, and that was the first course,
That's
and
amazing.
they flipped out. I mean, just the pranayams, they were so excited about it. I remember teaching that group, and they were just, you know, amazed. And then the next day we learned the Kriya. So, and many of those people became teachers.
I
So,
can imagine,
yeah,
in those days, particularly in when you're open to when you have a group that is open to um, receiving this type of knowledge, and there's a grace, the blessing in these practices. And I think even when you said, it caught me when there was rain coming down, almost like blessing from the skies too.
yeah, yeah,
Something so precious was being unfolded in this part of the world, and
right.
I can just imagine. And I'm so glad to hear you say that many of them were so moved by the practices that they too wanted to help spread this to more and more people. Now,
Right.
Scott, were you traveling all over the place
Yeah,
in those days? I can imagine.
everywhere, all over the US, um, teaching everywhere. And then this was such a group and big group in Fairfield. They all had friends, and they all the friends wanted to start. So I was teaching all over.
That you just knew that um, this I guess this honor had come, and you just made the commitment and priority to do this almost in a full-time way, it sounded
Yeah, yeah,
like. So,
yeah.
and then still with your keen interest in the knowledge and the wisdom, it sounds like you were trying to um, video that whenever Gurudev came. Would he come once in a while? I don't know in those days how often he would come this side.
He would come quite a bit in those days. And then he started the Bhakti Sutras, which are
All
these
right.
aphorisms about love and devotion. And he wanted me to tape all of those first classes. So I started taping that, and then and it just went from there. It was like, you know,
Our sincere gratitude for many of us who have seen those very powerful commentaries. I remember when I had first seen some of these, it just hit me all at once. It's not that I didn't know and had studied different philosophical texts before, but there was something in the way that Gurudev gave the message that it was so, he made it so simple and clear. And that's a gift because to be a good teacher, to take a complex subject, whatever these different philosophical commentaries from thousands of years ago, and to make them relevant, to make them fresh and understandable for modern times. That struck me like nobody else I had ever received this knowledge. And yeah,
yeah.
you to thank for recording some of those, because a lot of us who came later, we weren't obviously there when he was giving the commentary, but here, decades later, we can still benefit from those talks and see how we can apply them in real life. Because I remember Gurudev saying that there's Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana, listening to the knowledge and then really pondering about it, seeing how it could be relevant, maybe some particular challenging situation that you're facing, or I don't know what it is. And then more and more, these challenges come, and you just start to, oh, yeah, I remember hearing that. Maybe I can apply that now, till it almost becomes part of just the way you are. And I can see you have been in this knowledge, being around that so much that it has become kind of in the flow, right? Automatic for you.
Yeah. And he teaches with so much like even though these are profound talks, he would just be so light and loving about it and kind of funny. He's got a really sense of humor.
It,
So
it,
just
I think
and
um,
he used to take his beads and uh, wind them around in circles.
twirl around. Now, speaking of the beads, I have to ask this. Now, your background, you studied at the School of Design and the Arts in California, and you were an artist and a photographer. Um, what was it about a photograph when you kind of went about to take a photograph? In your mind, would you sort of picture the composition? It would just kind of come naturally to you. What made a good photograph for you?
Well, in those days, it was all film. Wasn't anything, there was nothing digital. So you had to not only focus the camera, but you had to meter the lighting just right and all
I,
of those complicated sort of things.
I,
So that's what I would do.
there was a lot to it. I remember with adjusting the, as you said,
Yeah,
the lenses, the there was so much more to it than just clicking on
yeah,
phone.
exactly.
So those were the true photographers like you of our time that really knew how to put it together. And
Yeah.
um, so much when you were inspired something like a beautiful nature scene, and you capture that moment, the sunset or the mountains or the forests, and you're in beautiful California, you have all of the above
Yeah,
at
yeah.
your fingertips. But when you saw Gurudev in those days, and you did you just have that feeling like, oh gosh, I want to take a picture? How did you feel about
Well, I kind of respected his privacy at the same
it?
time.
Okay.
So I would always ask first, is it okay if I take this photo now? And he usually would say yes, because we needed a lot of photos for all our materials and things. But so I would when I would take a photo, I would, make sure that it was metered correctly and everything and focused just right and things like that. So no, it was a task.
And just like those of us who have, come into programs much later than you, we enjoy those talks and we enjoy those photographs. I want to share a couple of them. I had the honor of interviewing you last year for a book called The Monumental Movement about the art of living story. And here, in the India chapter, were some of your, here, let me maybe put it on this way so you can focus here. Some of your very noted photographs of Gurudev. And I see those beads, as you were saying, how you
Yeah,
kind of twirling the beads.
I love that photo.
We
He
love
just he
those
had just done a
too.
puja, and I took these. This was in the old meditation hall, and I took this photo where he was playing with the beads, and it was right after a puja, which is a ceremony of Thanksgiving. And then this other one, he used to go for walks in the ashram, the old ashram, at dawn. And same thing, I didn't want to bother him so much because it was his one chance to be alone. And he would go for these walks. But I remember just sitting there at the top of this hill, and I could hear him walking up the hill. And so I wanted to take a photo of him. Um, and he just came up over the hill with the morning sun.
Oh,
And
that is the morning time.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
the,
And
the lighting is really beautiful
I
there.
know I love that photo. It's one of my favorites.
And how about this one that's a little bigger on the bottom? A
Yeah,
lot of us have this photo in some way. Um,
right.
what do you remember of that one?
That was in Kerala after a big course. And I think the course had finished, and there were maybe 10 people in the room with him. And I came into the room, and he said he was holding, I remember, lotuses. And he said, "Ah, Scott, look, this is the pink lotus, and this is the white lotus." And everybody in the room cracked up. And I thought, well, that's not very funny. I've heard him being much more funny. But I realized every new person that came in the room, he would repeat the same thing. Huh, this is the pink lotus and this is the white lotus. And he looked so beautiful. I remember um, I was just inches away from him, and I took these photographs. And like we were saying, I had to make sure they were focused and they were metered right and everything. And I think I took maybe 4 or 5 photos. And I remember that was going to be I knew that would be a special picture. So I remember taking the film roll and putting an X on it. And I brought it all the way back to California and had it developed, and that was the one that was in focus. And
Oh,
um,
wow.
yeah, so we use that for many things, or books and posters.
Yes, I see that this one on the back of many publications
Yeah,
from the foundation. So
yeah.
we are so grateful to you
And
for
he
capturing
said that was the one photo that brought the most people to art. So I
that.
was happy.
Well, you captured it. We're so
Yeah,
grateful. Now, I know you got a chance to also go beyond the U.S., North America, over to Europe, and there were some quite amazing photos there. I want to get that one over to you, particularly in beautiful Switzerland. Was that when Gurudev was giving the commentary for Patanjali Yoga Sutras in Vegas? Uh,
yeah, yeah,
okay, because I think you captured a couple of photos of him with the mountains. I want to just show that to the audience.
yeah,
Um, the one that's the bluer one, I think you said that was on top of uh, the Rigi,
right.
the tram that went up there, and Gurudev. I mean, it looks like a lot of snow on the ground, and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a thin dhoti
yeah.
fit.
They call that no conflict. Remember the lecture was no conflict between paths, and there was a photo that Marshy took very much like that. Same thing with like a little foot out and on top of the mountain. And so we used them for our tape covers, and there was no conflict between paths because at the time there was a controversy of TM and art of living, and um
Yeah,
so we used that.
I think that that's such a beautiful point that he was trying to make, and that you have reiterated. There is no conflict. I mean,
No.
This knowledge is for everybody. It's kind of very applicable in these times. I love that commentary that he was doing there. And actually, my mother and I traveled to Switzerland, and we wanted to go to that spot, Vegas. We went up that Rigi tram, and we also saw this scene from the Lake Lucerne.
Yeah.
I love that picture. Tell us how you captured that moment. It looks like he was walking away and there's nobody around him. How did you get that one?
Well, there was always a big group that would follow him. And I remember there was this little gate that you had to walk through. So I had my friend Rosie I should just shut the gate as soon as he goes in and give me 5 seconds to take some photos. And so he, I took that photo of him and, even though you can't see his face, I think it like captures the serenity and beauty of him. And
Absolutely.
I,
And of the surroundings too. You
right.
captured them all um and that quietude, nobody there, just you and he and the mountains and the lake in that special moment that will touch anybody that sees that one. So thank you so much for sharing.
Even though you can't see his face, you get the feeling of the
Yeah.
serenity and the deep silence there.
Now, another place that I have heard you talk about is going to Japan. And
Yeah.
so, tell us a little bit about when you went to Japan. And was he giving a lecture series there or teaching a program?
Um, he had just finished the Bhakti Sutras, I remember, and so we went to Japan, and there was just a couple of us with him, and we stayed in this beautiful like temple, and he just looked at me. He said, "Okay, we're not doing anything. You start a course." And I thought, wow, of course, I don't speak Japanese or I don't know anybody here. And so I remember I taught somebody in New York whose brother lived in Japan and was teaching English as a second language. So I got his phone number somehow, and I called him and I said, "Oh, you want to? Could you get a small group together to come and hear this amazing man who gives these incredible talks?" So we had a small group together, like maybe 6 or 7 people.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I picked them up at the train station. And so I was bragging about the Bhakti Sutras. And I said, "Oh, wait till you hear his talks. They're just amazing talks. And, you're going to love this talk." And so I brought them into the temple, and he was just sitting there very silently, like that
I'm
photo.
going to show that photo here so that folks can see that one. Let me see. Let me bring that up here. That's a different book, The Way of
Yeah,
Grace.
yeah.
Oh, that's
And
so
he just was sitting there in that beautiful, with that nice shawl over him. And so I started, I did my usual spiel. I introduced him, and this is, Panditji Ravi Shankar, and we're traveling, and we teach this breathing. And he didn't say anything. And so I got kind of nervous, so I started again. And then we're traveling, we're teaching these courses, and said nothing. And it was silent. So I got kind of nervous, and this one girl started crying, I remember. And I thought, oh, they're disappointed because he's not saying anything. And um, then the whole room started crying. and then he just dismissed them. I walked them back to the train station. I was kind of apologizing. I said, usually he gives some talks, and they said, "Oh no, that was amazing. The silence in that room was just so incredible." And when I got back to the place, he said they were so ready that they didn't need any words.
The
So,
silence
yeah,
was more powerful, the presence,
right, the present.
than any words could express.
Yeah.
So
So they all came back, and I taught them the Kriya the next day, and they took the course. And I remember that first girl that started crying. She became the president of Art of Living in Japan.
oh,
That
that's
was the very first course in Japan.
wow.
So,
Um, you've definitely seen a lot of people, taught a lot of people, mentored a lot of people, Scott. So I know you've seen many journeys of transformation and healing with grace and with blessing. Um, I wonder if any of those, any story comes to your mind of how either a blessing or these practices had really helped someone.
well, they helped me.
Me too. So,
And
all right, tell us your little bit about your story, how
yeah,
they have helped.
I I had a stroke, and it was just really intense. I couldn't walk or anything. So I remember just everything I could do to get better. Whatever they told me to do, I would do it twice as much. And I was meditating, and that's how I got better. And so I just got over the stroke, and it was just, I mean, I couldn't walk. It was amazing. So anyway,
I mean, it sounded like you were working very hard with whatever was told to you with your maybe your physical therapy or anything like that. But you were saying that there was something more with uh, your practice of meditation and the breath work. You felt like those were channels for um, healing to uh, uh, accelerate perhaps your process of getting fully better. Could you feel that? Could you um, it sounds like that's what helped you along
yeah, yeah, totally.
because many times we hear of stories of debilitating stroke and people being greatly affected and maybe not able to recover from that. So
Right.
it's a great blessing that all these practices and all the wisdom and keeping the positivity and the commitment and the faith um, all together um, helped you somehow overcome this. And it's a blessing
Yeah,
to have you here today to speak of that and all that you have done
yeah,
for the foundation.
yeah. And
So,
I talked to Gurudev at the time, and he said, "Don't, no, no, don't worry. You'll be better. You'll get better. Just do your practices, stay with the knowledge, and you'll heal." So, which is what I did, and I got better.
and you are a shining example of um, hope and faith and um, the possibility of anything can be overcome.
Yeah,
We thank you for being that inspiration. You have seen a lot of things in this organization over the years. And I was wanting to explore with you as an artist, when you saw communities come together, with Gurudev's vision for the world to all come together in harmony and celebration, in maybe that first World Culture Festival, long back in Bangalore, and then we've had some since then.
Right.
Were you a part of those World Culture Festivals, Scott?
Oh yeah. They were just incredible. I mean, he would get so many people, and it was all about music and dance and celebration, really. And so they just incredible, like numbers, huge groups.
Ah,
It kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and just so much fun, just to see all these people from all over the world dancing and singing and playing music. It's just incredible.
in a variety of traditions
Right.
representing their countries and sharing their talents
Yeah.
on a world stage. Really phenomenal. I remember going for the first time. We went in 2011 to Berlin. I took my teenage sons at the time, and we were just wowed. Just no words to express that
Right.
many nations represented at the time, the native dances and the musicians. We were just in a different, transported to some
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of different uh, planet that is so harmonious and um, just as one unit all together. And
One,
that
one world family.
one world family, right? Gurudev says, and you so nicely reminded, truly feeling that oneness. And it happened again closer to home.
Yeah.
The In the US, we're in California, but we've moved to the East Coast and was closer to the action by Washington, D.C. I didn't know what to expect when we're kind of the host country, but it was amazing to see so many volunteers on the ground. Remember, this is a volunteer organization. It's just all hands coming together. And it was just a phenomenal event to be part of it. And all these are in different flavors, I think, of the home country, each unique. When my mother and I traveled to India, to Delhi for the one in 2016, and there, the scale and the grandeur of that one was unbelievable with, 3.75 million people all together. And when Gurudev led that meditation, it was just a wow moment for everyone. So, Scott,
Right.
what
Art of living, art of living. It's the art of living.
What would you say to someone who has never been to that kind of a scale event? I believe the next one is coming in 2026. I don't know the dates and finalized locations.
Yeah.
But what would you tell them?
If you can go, there's just nothing like it. It's just a world event, and these are kind of troubled times, and they're like the one symbol of unity, that brings people together, and as one people, and celebrating the arts and celebrating just the humanity of people. It's just a beautiful, beautiful experience. To go if you can. Definitely, definitely. Not something not to miss.
And everybody is welcome on
Right.
such an undertaking like that, just to be part of it. I really felt in each of those different times, we were talking about blessing and grace as we started our conversation. I felt like those trips, especially when we had to go somewhere else, but even DC, we had to drive and go. It was truly like every moment of that trip was filled with um, celebration and grace, and it just shifted things. Maybe we were caught up in some small obstacle or something in our life, but are when you change your lens to something so big, like all those small things seem no big deal. And maybe they even, start to resolve themselves somehow because you're going at it from a much wider perspective.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
no,
remember he said it's like it's a traveler's karma. He said in the old days, you when you had to find a guru, you used to have to travel through these huge mountains, maybe a long trip. And he said we still have that karma. Sometimes you have to just go through a lot to get to the goal. And so that's
but
just
it's still worth going, right? No
yeah,
matter.
absolutely.
You just keep that focus and your eye knowing that that sheer celebration, that moment of humanity coming together, it could be like a once in a lifetime kind of experience. And it's so precious that it's worth whatever it may take to be
Yeah.
part of something that big.
And
So,
here, just Gurudev is just right in the center of it all. He's just creating this whole huge thing. And I remember, meeting him, and then things were just small. Then there was just a few people, and he would he would send you like Japan, like I didn't speak Japanese, but he's just looking. He said, "Okay, we'll have a course here now," and so I, somehow got this little group together, and they just became the whole country becoming. So it's amazing the way he works.
amazing is all we can say. And
Yeah.
you are amazing too, all that you have done for the foundation. And your inspiration, you're still going. What is driving you these days? What are you hopeful about? What words of wisdom would you give to those younger than you as we continue on our journey or start on our journey?
Yeah. Uh, just to go for it, you'll receive so much more back than whatever you put into this, and um, that's always been my experience. The whatever I give into the art of living, I get multiple back. So whatever you put in, you learn the Kriya, you learn the courses, you learn you take some advanced courses, which we do. Um, and
With the
what
silence, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
It,
many aspects.
I know.
So there's so much depth to the programs, yet there's something so simple about them that
Yeah.
uh, everybody can catch on to them.
Right.
So you opened it up for us in the Western world and captured so beautifully the knowledge and the photographs of a lifetime. Um, we thank you so much, Scott Hague, for being with us. Um, any final words you would like to say to the group?
Just to keep going with this art of living, it's just blossoming. And it's like a flower that just blossoms and blossoms and blossoms. Um, and I think all of us we're just blossoming along with that. All of us are like flowers, and we're just blooming in full bloom.
Oh, it's beautiful. We'll end on that. Such an honor to have you, um, Scotty. Thank you so much.